Hello guys, and we are here for one more video of these Smurf accounts being defeated. And the game I have here, I propose to you, for you to watch, is against this account, Mr. XYZ. The name obviously sounds suspicious because, why not put Mr. ABC, it's sarcasm. Um, anyway, if you have doubts about this player, he got himself almost to 2K in team games. And I tell you, you don't get to 2K in Aoe2 team games if you don't have either good connections and or if you are obviously one of the big names in this game. You have doubts about what I say, so if you have doubts, let's clear those doubts. I'll put you the capture age, not the capture age, the Aoe2 insights information about said player. This is Mr. XYZ, so French Smurf account. And you have here the information. It's pretty much clear. He got himself on 2021 to 1900 euro. I don't know what you do to get to such levels, and then on team games you descend to 1000. That sounds very strange and very odd. Well, this alone proves that you're not dealing with the ordinary player. Excuse me, it's not. I've been playing team games the whole time, in terms of, although I'm not playing with my own formatted teams, and you just cannot go this up unless you're part of some sort of big name in the game. That's how it is. Anyway, this account obviously it gives a flair of something doesn't look good, but we'll see what happens. Spoilers: I didn't humiliate or anything in game. We'll just watch the game as it goes because it definitely was one of these accounts whose it sounds a little bit strange. But anyway, the game was interesting and I'll show it to you. But it was a Smurf account being defeated, for sure. In this particular game, we both started with siege workshops. I had a siege workshop too on my side, and since I'm Turks, eventually when I would go Imperial Age, I could get instantly my bombard cannons, or by Castle Age, I could simply start to produce siege units as well. Let's check eventually his APMs, but does APM is not necessarily the only criteria. Um, he does have a few APMs that are notable here in the beginning, a few more APMs, but overtly, it was not through APM that you witnessed that e-smurfing. We need to combine several factors. So by what we looked, the fact that a player was able to get until 1900 ELO in team games, that's an instant giveaway. You're not dealing with the average player. Anyway, let's see what he did. Playing with Lithuanians means that he probably would want to snatch the relics as soon as possible, so that his knights would get beefier, and potentially even lighties if you'd go for that lighties sort of option by Castle Age. What I do is kind of, well, it is relevant at some point in time, but I want to see the guy, the Smurf facing, that kind of, it's not going according to plan moment. I want to see that. That's why I use these rects with view lock enacted, because it allows me to watch these dramatic or cataclysmic failure moments where the Smurf finally realizes that things are not going according uh, to his script, kind of. He's going for that for the geese in the town center. All villagers, with the exception of one, are getting food. Set 7 on food source. Some geese or turkeys on the side. Turkeys, obviously. They look similar, but these are turkeys. I mean, the object in terms of Aoe2 graphic units. Of course, a turkey is not a geese, and it's not a goose, and a goose is not a turkey. But they're very similar when you look at the graphic design here in Aoe2. You might think, what is he doing with his scouts? Scouting for sheep, potentially scouting for relics, because as Lithuanians, you want to go for relics, right? I mean, you'd like to know where the relics are so that uh, you lose the least possible time when you want to pick them later, like Castle Age. All looks simple for now. Nothing too fancy. I'm not seeing any boars though. Probably is the feature of this map. There are some huntables. Yeah, he goes for that too. I think I remember I did something of the sort. I also went for the huntables outside, as there were no boars. Wait, what was the elo at the time of the player? He was, let's see, 870, 874, I think it was like that. And I was about sort of the same thing. Because this is the elo result I got with that game, you know. That plus I think already incorporates that. So at the time I was this. That game was played how long ago? 5 days ago. So for each of these huntable things one by one, they call it rares. It's like an ostrich. Blooming his veils. It was his choice. Bit of idle time with the villagers here. As for another lumber camp. Two lumber camps is a good option, I'd say, considering that you don't have boars and you can have lumberjacks. With the extra wood, you can start doing more farms at some point in time. Oops, I was visiting him with the scouts, but I witnessed that he was already loomed by the time, so to go all in with the scouts would not be the best idea. More likely I was just paying him a visit to see what he was doing. Exceptionally, I will allow you to know where I was, usually on the other side, and I was also going for the huntables on the north. Goes for farms. My scout was more interested in knowing where he was going instead of actually going after him. And he's going for a fast castle. I mean, for sure, because when you're seeing him doing this many farms, and he's getting a lot of wood, by the way, means he wants to go fast castle. Food that comes from farms tends to be faster. So transitioning to farms would be a way to propel for a faster castle age thing. So that you'd get a higher leverage in terms of food economy. It did cost wood, you know, making farms does cost wood, but it pays off if you have two lumber camps working seamlessly. Now going for Feudal Age. My score still looks a little bit better, but it can all be details of exploration that could explain uh, this difference in my favor. He really goes for all the res. That's fine, because otherwise, why would you make a mill here? It does make sense what he does. I totally agree with what he did. About to go Feudal Age. And the scout is probably just attempting to get any relics location. He found two already. One is on the left side and one on the right, near his base. Though he did not decide to do, for example, a second mill here. It could be a more efficient way of getting this food. That was his choice. What's going to be his option? Scouts. That's because he makes a stable. Or he just wants to make a stable at Feudal Age to make knights by Castle Age. And an archery range. What would you think he could go? I would say he would go skirmishers, because Lithuanian skirmishers, they get that 10% faster movement. Basically makes them a little bit beefier. That's to Feudal Age. I was later to Feudal than him, but my economy was probably slightly better. I would say is halfway to Castle Age. Got himself the blacksmith. Maybe he wants to invest with fletching upgrades or even scale bearing armors or forging. He has enough food for that. It would delay him a little bit in terms of Castle Age time, but that would be within reach for him. Continuously producing villagers and not getting housed, which is nice. I would say he would want to go for a fast castle, because he's not producing any military units. The food is stockpiling, and if I see 200 gold and about 800 food, it means you want to go fast castle. I would say that. Maybe not that fast, because you're continually producing villagers. Continuously producing villagers. Transition lumberjacks to the left side. And boom, fast castle. How many military units did he make in Feudal Age? Zero. Zero. He didn't make any single military unit in Feudal Age. But he still had an archery range and a stable, so in terms of the stable, I can understand. He can go for knights at this stage. And he's doing the scale bearing armor. That checks. If you want to go knights, that would make sense, because you also have gold miners and you have 11 farms. That allows for a knight production. For knights production, you can produce a few of them. Not an infinite number, but a few. At the start of Castle Age. And decides to stonewall, if I'm not wrong. I think he wanted to stonewall. Exactly. So investing a lot in terms of stonewalling this area. He could use this stone for something else, but he decided to rather invest in stonewalling. And oh, I have 2 scouts here. 3. He's kind of open. And now emergency switching to scouts, as he's seeing scouts of my own. And oops, that villager is not in a good place. Let's see if these scouts have some armor. Oh, no, they don't. They don't have armor. They have pierce armor, but they don't have melee armor, because they're turtles. That's why we got the free pierce armor. Well, the scout got out, but as his HP is taken down already. Fast castle, but he's already having some idle time in his economy, and my scouts are in. I go around here and then just to witness what he's doing. In a way, I was gathering some scouting information. Yeah, sure, I was not getting any value from this, but I realized that he was more interested in pursuing my scout. Goes for the second town center. He lost a ville, but that's not that much. And you know what the value of this scout is? He's forcing him to pursue him. I'm forcing enemy to pursue my scout. He was not using his military units for anything at all. And worse, I forced him to queue so many food units, so many scouts, so he was unable to produce that many knights early on. Now, what he wants to go, he made a monastery, he's going for a monk. That means he wants to collect relics. He's got a relic here close and the other one on the left side. He also notices probably that there's a relic on the top corner, and I would say symmetrically, there is another relic on the right side. Spoilers, there is a relic on that right side as well. 2 monasteries, he really was that determined. Maybe he wanted to get a relic on this upper corner, and that's why he was producing 2 monasteries and making 2 monasteries so he could go 2 monks at a time. The first relic he picks is the closest one to his base. He's rather conservative instead of being greedy. He's more, let's choose something that is attainable first, and eventually we might move on to the other relics. I respect his choice, but now I have light cavalry for free against his scouts. They have armor. I don't have armors, but I still have spears supporting here, and oh my god, this engagement was such a disaster for him. I had my scouts, my light cavalry, baiting his scouts into my spears. My spears crushed his own scouts. He was dead. That was such a bad fight for him. And it's going to be more complicated for him from now on, because as I'm Turks, I'm able to do camels, so if he decides to go nice, I can simply camel it out. A few camels can solve the matter. And I also have my own light calves, a few spears as well. That can be dangerous. 1 spear, wow, how dangerous can that be? And transitioning to elite skirmishers. Well, that is interesting. I mean, the Lithuanian skirmishers are kind of beefy. They can still be dangerous after all, with their plus 10% faster movement. And if you add squires, that's an even faster movement speed, I think. Lithuanians do have squires, if I'm correct. Yes, they have squires at the barracks. I'm going to see that right now. I have a monk, and the monk will convert to speed. I remember that at the time. Kind of a score flip, but you know, score is just score. He got himself 2 relics, which means that his knights got plus 2 attack for free. Though it's Lithuanians, right? Lithuanians being Lithuanians. He's doing this thing. Though I might say he overtly committed with the monasteries. Doing a fort castle. Well, kind of forward. It's sort of a defensive castle, protecting that area of the base. I agree with that castle placement, as the castle is securing both not just wood, but also stone and gold, protecting 3 resources. He's protecting 3 resources. University or town? University, but he's building a university. Would he be aiming for a fast temp? Lithuanians do have some interesting tools by Feudal Age. If you talk about the halbards, or the paladins, and the elite lighters. And as he's got himself 2 relics, that could be interesting. Oh, but I witness the top left corner relic has disappeared. I guess he cannot collect that 3rd relic he would so much want. Well, maybe he can have the 4th relic, right? Yeah, he can have it. But I'm not that sure about it. Uh-oh. What's happening? I'm denying the relic for the Lithuanian. And if I collect 2 out of 4 relics, it means that the guy cannot collect the 2 remaining relics. Which means Out of the +4 attack that the Lithuanian guy could get for his knights, he's now only going to get +2 attack. I halved the points of the potential Lithuanian bonus. But it's still good, you know? The Lithuanians still have +2. But you know, that makes difference, because by Imperial Age, as the Lithuanians do not have Blast Furnace, it means that they cannot do that +3 level. +2? I think it's +2 attack. Because if you look at here at the tech tree, the important tech I'm mentioning is uh, this Blast Furnace. +2 attack. And the Lithuanians do not have this. So in a way, you might say that the relics do compensate for that. They do, and they can actually even exceed this. If in case you get, let's say, 4 relics, or even 3. Getting 2 relics is like the minimum, so even if you don't get 3 relics, if you get 2, it's as if you get the Blast Furnace, kind of. But if you don't get um, those, if you don't get 2 relics, you already will be falling behind by Imperial Age. But it's not that big, you know, collecting two relics out of 4 is kind of doable. The thing is, you will not be getting 4 relics now, because I know each relic gives you +1 attack, until a maximum of 4 relics, 1 attack per relic. And this means that it could eventually get +4 attack, but as I collected 2 relics myself, now he's only able to get 2 plus attack. 1 for each relic collected. And that means that his knights, when they go Imperial Age and everything, even his lighties, will not be as hyper powerful as they could potentially be with 2 additional relics. There's a big difference between allowing a Lithuanian opponent to get 4 relics or just getting 2. It's not just a matter of relic gold or having more relic pieces at the monster. It's something a little bit deeper. You might say sinister, but I would not say. I would say it's more like a you're preventing the Lithuanian opponent from having some dangerous tools. Going for the scold and ballistics. Ballistics does make sense if you're using your skirmishers. They'll become more accurate by firing. And he seems to be going forward. Was he aiming for a sort of forward attack? So far, 3 knights are going ahead. You see fletching, you see the scale, this second Castle Age armor. How's that called? Chain bearing armor? Yeah, I think it's chain bearing armor. And I have camels. I mean, it's not a surprise if you're a cavalry civ. I would be doing anti-cavalry units, right? Come on, I know that as Lithuanians you would be going for knights, so I went for camels. He has 2 monks, which makes sense if you want to make a few conversions. But it's not going to stop. That alone is not going to be sufficient to deter my camels. My camels are going to snatch those knights very easily. Some Janissaries doing some work here. I know that the skirmishers destroy the Janissaries, but I have my camels that sort of act as light cavalry and finish these scrolls. Monks die. Boom, he lost his monks, he lost his skirmishers, he also lost knights. I might have lost 1 camel at best. The engagement was better for me than for him. Yeah, I lost his spear. They come cheap. They come super cheap, these spearmen. Deciding to go for forging to get that +1 extra attack. And that meant that his knights would have 13 attack after forging. They have already 10 plus 2 because of the 2 relics, and forging gives them an additional attack, which means 10 plus 2 plus 1, so 13 attack. I know that the camels are being countered by the spears or the pikemen, but I had some janissaries, there was a monk there, a few archers to help, and they worked as good as light cavalry. Do they have armors? Well, they have the first armor. These camels are doing their work. Now he's going a lot for monks. That meant I would need something against this. Potentially light cav. I have Janissaries here. They seem to be okay against monks, but 3 of them is not enough. And now he has skirms to protect his monks. I knew that if I would give him too much time, he would start to get even more monks, and they can be dangerous, these monks. Light Cav is coming to deal with the monks. And more archery ranges. I think he wanted to insist with more skirmishers. There was nothing I could do because this castle is a castle in itself. My best tool would be to go imp and either use bombard cannons or potentially trebuchets. Or both. Queuing for pikes and lead skirmishers. And boom. Imperial Age. My score did seem kind of good. There's one advantage I can get with the Turks, and that's the instant chemistry available, instantly researched as soon as I reached Imperial Age. Got that free research. And I also got the Hussar free tech research. Though there is not much I can do here. I killed that villager eventually, yes, I did kill one. If I would have raided him a little bit earlier, maybe I would have killed a little bit more. 1, 2, well, we can't do anything now because the pikes are there. He did lose 2 villagers. And he goes now for the Bodkin arrow and a lot of scraps. Now these elite skirms, they will be a problem for me. I mean, what I can do as starts, I could go Hussars, I could go with mangonels, but I don't have archer line units, I can only do mangonels. Some bomber cannons in between. Camels would also be kind of okay against them. Heavy camels. I could also go cavaliers, but I would prefer probably the Hussar line, as they would just cost food. And it would be trash units against trash units. So my own trash food units, which would be Hussars, against his own trash units, which would be skirmishers. Going for bloodlines, and first trap doing his own work. But he has army. I have my camels here, and I also have janissaries, ideally protecting these camels from the pikes, and the camels are going to attack the skirmishers, forcing them to be away from the trap, which was exactly what I wanted. I did some CA, why not? The problem is these monks. I had to kill these monks fast, but they were converting a lot of my units. This was a danger for me. I did kill a few of these monks, but they were expensive. They really healed themselves back. I converted a few of my camels. And by the way, I had devotion. So it would have been even worse for me. I did lose my camels, but he lost all his monks. I did maintain my gold units, and now I don't know what was the point of this Lighties. The curious thing is, it's going to be converted. And he dies. The Janissaries kill everything that gets close to them. He's already Imperial Age 2, I have to be careful with that. Doing chemistry, and now there's a small engagement. Hussars are coming to help with the Janissaries. He's forced to go back. More traps are coming. I would say this would look okay for me. But attacking that lumber camp is obviously an accident thing. I would want this trap to attack this castle. Bombard cannons. Finally I'm doing something as Turks. Killing a few of these skirmishers. I did lose also a few of my own. A few janissaries. He lost more skirmishers though. Hussars are coming. Bombard cannons are helping as sort of shield these janissaries. Now I have elite janissaries. What is he doing? No. Lights. Traps. Cavaliers, he still doesn't have enough loot for the Paladin upgrade. And now I decide to go back because I needed to protect the trap. Goes for that trap. I also attack the trap with my bombard cannons. And he is able to actually destroy my trap. Lucky strike. Finish those, but now I have to go back here, protect this bombard cannon, and stop this cannon from being destroyed. He's continuously repairing the castle, which means that he's going to lose some of his stone. And I go with the cannons against that castle. I think I have heavy camels, yes. I have heavy camels at the stage. My hussars though only had fortune. Some more pikes on this corner. I had to use my janissaries to help here. This was a bit of a mess. And I think he would be losing a castle. Exactly. He lost the castle. From here, I got myself an advantage position. And I think he would resign from here. I mean, I would say he played well with his tools, but somehow, I would say my micro against his skirmishers, using the camels sort of substitute for light calves, and even the janissaries kind of helped. Uh, I mean, even before I got the hussars by Council Age, I kind of used selectively my camels, and his monk push was not that successful. Anyway, this was yes, it was a French Smurf account, not a huge monster like those we do, but it was. And, it's just a Smurf account being defeated. In any case, we defeated the guy, and it was kind of okay. This match felt kind of quite chill, but he was solid. Eventually, he would come with lighties or uh, a stronger attack. It's just that I denied his attack by going for some fasting things. You know, kind of worked. Anyway, that was for this game. This is not a huge Smurf monster, but we'll have more coming. And particularly, there'll be a game about an arena game where I faced a huge monster Smurf playing in Persian with Persian civs. That is one of the games that will eventually be shown in the future. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it.